The 2022-23 domestic season is over for many of Europe's biggest leagues, so you'll naturally want to start your next Football Manager save to reflect the real world. Follow this simple guide to set yourself up to essentially play FM24 5 months before it's released. As you can see here, we've got Luton promoted from the Championship via the playoffs. They will go up to the Premier League alongside Burnley and Sheffield United, as they will in the real world. Now, because of the way the game is edited, it will take a few attempts potentially to get the right playoff winners, as only league fixtures can be preset in the editor. That's the big warning up front. But as you can see, this is quite clear here by Bolton and Salford gaining promotion through the playoffs instead of who actually went up in the real world. But for leagues like the Premier League, where it's all just a straightforward league, there's no playoffs, there's no league splits, everything will match the real world. So you can see Manchester City are champions, Leeds, Leicester and Southampton are all heading down to the Championship. But just like the playoffs, domestic and European Cup competitions cannot be preset, so they won't match the real world, meaning Manchester City's treble might not be on the cards in your game. Right, let's come out of FM23 now and have a look at how you get all of this magic to work. First off, there will be 3 links at the top of the description of this video. Head there now and open them all. Also, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and there's also links further down in the description for all of the graphics and skins and everything that's used in this game, in the video in this game. Download them all from the links in the description down below. So the 3 important links today are to a custom start date file, a real results file, and the sort it out SI data update file. Using all 3 of these will get your game set up exactly the same as mine, but they aren't all necessary. There's a few tweaks which we'll cover as we go through each of them down in the rest of the video, basically. So first up, head to the download page of the custom start date. This is a pack of about a dozen files that I've created myself, which will shift the start date of FM23 throughout the season. So all the different dates are listed here on the download page, but it's the most recent one which we're going to use today. You'll notice when you hit download, you go to a landing page. Once the download kicks off, which links to another video here on the channel. Feel free to watch them at your leisure. Right, next, head to the real results file, which is a fantastic file that's been maintained all season long. So a massive shout out to Mush7 and team for their fantastic work and dedication throughout the whole season. Now this file, this set includes presets for all of the results of all these leagues here. You can see which ones are listed, so they match the real life results. As again, there's a warning about cups, playoffs and league splits, which we mentioned earlier on. They're not covered in this file. Now, the final file is to download the data update. This will set all transfers since the final official update to happen in-game. So you start with 100% accurate and up-to-date squads as of very much now, today, this morning. This is what will happen. The file gets updated every single day, so if you start wanting to do this in a couple of days' time, you'll have the most up-to-date transfers as well. It features on several videos here on the channel. It also features real promotion and relegation, so it moves the clubs up and down, which we can turn off for the purpose of this video. But if you wanted to go about things a different way and have those teams, all of the right teams in the right league, you want to not basically do the start date and the real results file. You just want this one, and it will basically shift the seasons back a year. So you'll start 23-24, but it'll still say 2022. But we're not going to do that today. That's for another video, potentially here on the channel. Right, let's go on. Once all of those downloads have been finished, you need to head to your downloads folder and extract the files. Now, I use 7-zip here, but other software is available. You'll also need to find your editor data folder within My Documents, Sports Interactive, Football Manager 2023. This is the same folder that's used for any database updates, like the Real Name Fix or the Around the Globe Mega Pack, which you can find out all about on videos here on the channel. Now, you simply just move the files that are in each of these downloads across into the editor data folder, and it should look very similar to this. Note you only need one custom start date from the pack, unless you want to try at different points throughout the season, but I've only put one in there. I mean, I've got the whole pack in there as well because I created it. But there we go. Your folder will look something like this. And now we need to boot up Football Manager and head into game and get things set up in the right way. Now, you start up a new save game as you would any other, but the first thing you need to do is click on the database drop down at the top where it says 23.4 and make sure that all of the files that we've just downloaded are enabled. So if this is the first time you've booted up the game since downloading them, they'll all be enabled by default. but some of them conflict with each other and some will move, as we've mentioned, clubs into leagues we don't want. So if you want to go down the list like I'm doing here, and anything that's got brackets league in it, untick them, because that will shift teams about between leagues, and we don't want that. We want to start the game as of, well, Monday or today, basically, to start the game as the season's gone on, rather than jump back to the beginning and have all the clubs in the right leagues for next season. Now, once you've done that, go through to Advanced Setup and select the leagues and nations that you wish to load. I'm going to go for the big 5 European leagues, but the most important one to load is up here in Africa. It's a new nation that's been created for the custom start date. You need to make sure you click to load this nation and set the leagues up like you normally would, but make sure you set the sortitoutsi.net league to be view only. Then on the game start date selection down in the bottom right, you want to select the custom start date and the 5th of June 2023 start date. This will shift the game forward to this date and use all of the results that have been preset in the editor to fill in the gap, essentially, so it matches the real world. Caveat once again, cups and playoffs and league splits. Now, as an aside here, if you don't want the real life results but you want to simulate forward to this point or any other point, any other start date, just disable those 23.4 files that were in the list earlier, or just don't download them, and then you can just set the custom start date as we have just done, and the game will then simulate forward to fill in the gaps between the actual league starting and the custom start date that you've selected, and you'll have your own unique world. Okay then, the game has loaded, and I put myself in as just an unemployed manager just to have a look around. So you can see here the Premier League, as you'd expect, Manchester City winning. We'll go through here and see what happens. So in the Championship, Middlesbrough have won the playoffs, so if you want Luton to get promoted, you're going to have to reload again. If you go through to League 1, Sheffield Wednesday win, and League 2, Carlisle have gone up through the playoffs. So we're nearly there. Notts County through in the National League as well, playoffs, but again, you have to rejig a little bit, and as I did say, you just try it a few times. You can see all the rest of the leagues around Europe are now finished. So Spain and Italy, Napoli winning the Italian title. Bundesliga, again, the playoff for the relegation spot isn't set up in game, so just beware of that one. Again, France is won by PSG. And if we check the PSG squad, as you can see, we've downloaded this transfer update as of Thursday, so the day before this video comes out. And you can see here that Lionel Messi is no longer at PSG. He has made a transfer, as you may have seen if you've not been living under a rock. He's gone to Inter Miami, so if we go to him on the game, you can see here he's number 10 at Inter Miami in the pink shirt. He's in the MLS, but basically he's played 20 games there already, because this game simulates from the beginning of the game to say that he's in the MLS. Never mind. But if we carry on looking, so other transfer news that are broken last night but haven't been confirmed yet. Real Madrid with Jude Bellingham. That transfer should not be in the data update yet because we haven't had official confirmation, and he's not there yet, as you can see. So that's good. That's not in the data update. Or have we had official confirmation, just not got a start date yet? We'll find out. But he's not in the Real Madrid squad at the moment. That is the important thing. But as you can see, all of the leagues are set up with the real results. Again, caveat the cups. So Manchester City aren't on for a treble. We look at their competitions. They're not in the Champions League final. They're not in the FA Cup final. They've not won that. They're not going to win the Champions League. Finals between Liverpool and Real Madrid. So it's all wrong in the Champions League. But that is something that is unavoidable in the pre-game editor. You cannot preset cup results. That's one of the drawbacks of the method that we're going through today. But everything else is set up perfectly. You can now play Football Manager 2024 5 months early, kind of, with these 3 downloads. And if you want to see more content here on the channel, hang around for some more great videos, and I'll see you on the next one.